Lust burns up your spiritual energy. It burns up your essence. And I want to talk about that in this video so you truly know how this works, because so many people are stuck in lust, and I can tell that they're on a low vibration. They're not tapped into their true potential and spiritual power, and they're unable to shine that light of Christ. Now, I used to be there, and when you're in that state, you don't even realize it, because it's like there's a veil over you and somebody has to lift the veil. But the only person that can lift that veil is you. I can only show you how to do it. And that's what I'm going to plan to do in this video right now. So this is how lust burns you up. I'm going to share a story with you from my experience of this. So I remember one day, it was the first time I had went 30 days straight without ejaculating or wasting my energy at all. First time. I think I was like maybe 18 or 19. And I've dealt with this since I was younger, as most men in today's society have, right? We deal with this with porn, masturbation, orgasm. When we're younger, we're programmed this way, and I'm telling you, it is on purpose. It is intentional for them to keep us on a low vibration, unaware of our true potential. Now, let me share with you how I realized that it burns up our spiritual power and disconnects us from God, plus all of the other negative physical effects, mental effects, emotional effects that come along with doing that practice. I went 30 days, right? Then I relapsed one day. And as soon as I release, I got a sharp pain in the middle of my head. And I was like, whoa, what is this? This is weird. I never experienced anything like this before. Because I had been concerned, this is the first time, think about it. I've been on this earth for 19 years, and I had just conserved my energy for 30 days, which is something I hadn't done within the past probably 7, 8 years before that. It was just a consistent, regular thing that I was doing. So, the sharp pain in the middle of my head, I'm like, what is this? What is going on? And I realized at that moment that when you ejaculate, the energy that has been moving up the spine, that has become stored here in the middle of the head, in the thalamus, in the pineal pituitary gland, in that area, right in the middle of your brain. That's where that energy is. That's where it gets stored. That's where it absorbs. That's how it activates the spiritual dimensions of you, the pineal gland. Listen carefully. When you masturbate and ejaculate, the energy that's been stored up here gets sucked down, all the way down to your lower, reproductive organs. And when you release it, you lose that energy. And right then and there, I knew. I was like, I just wasted my energy. And I can tell that it was stored up in the brain because I got a sharp pain in the middle of my head, like a migraine. So this is what happens. The energy gets taken down, and you can imagine it, because what happens? You get an erection. What happens? That's blood that expands. So all the blood and the minerals and the proteins that is being used all throughout the body, but that has been brought up to the brain. So now you're using it for your brain. Now you're using it for your creativity. It gets drawn back down to the lower energy centers of the body, right? To the reproductive energy centers of the body. So now you're indulging in your animal nature instead of your higher nature. When this happens, it burns up your spiritual power, because your spiritual power lies in the upper regions of the body. In the Bible, you often hear talk about the inner chamber, the upper room, the mountaintops, the housetops, the hilltops. This is referring to your head, the kingdom of God. This is referring to your head, the temple of Solomon, the tabernacle. You are the temple, the head, the upper room, the higher places of consciousness. In the Eastern cultures, it's referred to as the crown chakra, the third eye chakra. These are the higher places of consciousness. They knew this is where you connect with God, in the brain, the higher mind. But when your mind, the attention is focused on lust, then it draws away all of that spiritual power into the lower regions of the body. Okay, does this make sense? I'm simplifying it to the best of my ability. So when you're constantly indulging in lust on a mental level, it clouds your mind. It's like clouds coming in front of the sun. But these clouds are sucking your vitality away from you into just this lower nature desire for quick temporary pleasure. Because when you are indulging in lust, when your mind is always in a lustful state, you can only think about temporary pleasure. You cannot think about eternal things, God, life, spirit. How can you make a change in the world? How can you create something? How can you express yourself? How can you tap into your purpose? You're not thinking about any of these things. You're just thinking about, oh, the next female that looks good. You ever been around, maybe you're still in this state, I don't know, but have you ever been around people, I used to be this kind of person as well, that we see a girl, oh dang, she's fine. You see that? You know, yeah. I remember it hasn't been too long. And you know, that's in our biology. I'm not sitting here saying like we should never feel that type of way. I mean, we're naturally attracted to the opposite sex, right? But when you indulge in that, it burns you up. It burns you up spiritually because it takes a lot of energy to indulge in that. And then you're only experiencing this little hit of dopamine, this little temporary spike in your emotions, temporary pleasure. For what? Something that's temporary, something that's temporal, which is the human body, the flesh. It's temporary. It goes into the ground, it goes into the dirt. That's all it is. Look beyond the flesh. You will see all it is a skeleton, bones, blood, muscles, tissue, hair. I mean, it's really not the most beautiful thing when you look at it like that. I mean, everything in God's creation is beautiful if you really want to like be technical about it. But we have to look beyond just the flesh, because the flesh is going into the ground. That which is animating the flesh, the spirit, the soul, that is what we need to give value to. But so many people are stuck in a state where they're giving value, all of their energy to the lower nature animal desires, which don't result in anything positive other than a few moments of pleasure, which then leaves you feeling drained afterwards. Does it not? I know that it does because I've been there. I lived most of my life in that state, and I'm very thankful to have experienced or learned and experienced the truth at a fairly young age, and now I'm able to share it with other people. So if you're unaware of how to transcend this constant state of lust and, you know, lustful eyes, lustful feelings, lustful thoughts, and you want to tap into your true potential, your spiritual power, maybe you don't even know what that means. Maybe you have no idea what that means, what that looks like, what that feels like. But if you want to, I just want to give you a tip here. Be aware, be conscious of all of your actions, of your thoughts, of the way you think, of the way your eyes work, what you look at, what you're drawn to. Be aware. Be aware how you speak, the words that you speak out of your mouth. Be aware of the people around you, how they speak, what they look at, what they give their energy to, what they value. Just observe. Don't judge. Just observe. Be aware. And when you come into the state of awareness and you realize that, man, maybe I have been functioning from my lower animal nature, then you will naturally ask, well, what's beyond that? What if you no longer give into those desires? Let me give you an example. Let's say I see a beautiful woman walk by. She has all the looks that I would desire. So I've gotten to a state where most of the time I just look and I tell myself in my mind, and I'm being transparent with you guys, this is what I say. I say, Lord, be with me. And I look away. Lord, be with me. And when I say that, I'm denying the flesh. I'm giving into the spirit. And the benefit of that is actually more than the benefit of if I were to just sit and indulge in vain imaginations while looking at that woman. Now, in the past, my mind was in such a messy state. I remember I would see a very beautiful woman and my mind would go into that state, that vain imaginations. It will start thinking up things. And especially when you're watching the websites, your mind it becomes so polluted. And then that's the only thing you see when you go out into the world. That's the only thing you see. That's the only thing you're thinking about. And it's just burning you up because it's disconnecting you from your purpose. It's objectifying everything. It's only seeing the surface, unable to see what's deeper beneath the surface, the soul, the spirit, life, that which is beating your heart, that which is beating the heart of everybody that you see. What do you see when you see people? Do you see the flesh suit that they're wearing, or do you see their heart? Do you see the divine in them? Do you see God in them? Be aware of this. Be aware. I know this is what I had to do. I had to be aware. I would observe everywhere I went, my thoughts. I still do this. It's not like this just comes a day where you don't have to. Now, eventually the desires, the temptations, the inclination to look and indulge in vain imaginations, eventually that will go away. Like I said, I tell myself, Lord, be with me. I don't want to go into those imaginations. I don't want to go into those thoughts. I don't want to go there. Because I know that they eventually lead to nothing but suffering. Might feel good for a moment, but what's the point? See, if you're somebody that's never experienced any sort of true joy or love beyond the flesh, beyond like a relationship with somebody, or beyond, PMO, beyond self-pleasure or some sort of drugs or alcohol, if you've never experienced that true inner true joy, that bliss, that love from God, from being connected with the Spirit, then, well, first of all, if you're watching this video and you're actually genuinely interested in what I'm talking about, then you probably have that desire. It's probably burning within you, starting to burn within you, or maybe it's been burning within you for a while. You're like, there's nothing this world can offer. You're starting to see it. You're starting to realize this world can only offer that which is temporary. I want something eternal. If you're still watching and you're truly listening and you're like, I want to know what the truth is. I don't want to function from my animal nature anymore. If that's you, keep on that path. And you're who I'm talking to. Stay in that state of awareness. Be the observer. Observe your thoughts, observe your feelings, observe where your eyes go, observe the people around you, observe where their eyes go, observe their energy. Notice, just observe. You don't even have to do much after that. See, God dropped this video in your life. Maybe you accidentally clicked on it. Maybe you clicked on it. Maybe you've been watching my videos for a while. Maybe you just clicked on it because of the thumbnail. It's in your life. The video came in your life. See, it naturally happens. All you have to do is observe and be aware, and what's meant to happen will happen. But if you have if you're not observing life, if you're not in a state of awareness, then you function as an animal. You're drawn to whatever your sense pleasures want, whatever the desires of your senses are. You're just drawn there. It says in Proverbs, when it's talking about the strange woman, it says she's the simple man, which is like another word for the stupid or man without understanding. He just gets drawn to the strange woman like a bird goes to the bird trap, or like an ox goes to the slaughterhouse. This is how men without understanding, and women too, but we're talking about mostly men in this video, this is how they function when they're functioning from the lower reproductive area, energy centers of the body, if you want to put it in Eastern terms, from the lower chakras, from the root, from the sacral. If you haven't transmuted that energy into the higher chakras, then you will just go like an ox to the slaughter, into all the things that destroy you, because they look desirable on the outside. That's what happened to Eve in the garden. Allegorically, metaphorically speaking, the desire arose in the form of Satan or the serpent. That's the desire that arises within you. What happened? It looked desirable. That's even in the text. It looked desirable to the eyes. So Eve went and she ate it. Happens inside of you all the time. Something looks desirable. So your sense pleasures, a feeling arises. It comes up the spine like a snake. That's the energy that comes up and then you're drawn to it. But when you're functioning from the higher spiritual nature, the temple of God, the higher chakras, the crown, the incorruptible crown that Paul talks about in the New Testament, and I think Corinthians or Romans, the incorruptible crown, this is the higher nature. When those lower nature feelings arise, when you're drawn here or there, when you function from the observer, you have a choice. This is the difference between a spiritual and a natural person. The spiritual person knows that they have a choice. They function from the space of the observer. They function from a space of awareness. They know they have a choice. They can go to it, but they already have thought out the whole situation. If I go through it, this will be the consequence. I probably shouldn't do it. Because when your third eye is open, you can project into the future. You can see a situation before it happens. And then you can make that choice, that decision to give into the worldly desires, to say yes to the serpent, or to say no. But see, a natural man, they just say yes to the serpent every time because it looks desirable and it feels good, and they don't understand that they're defiling their temple, their body, their temple of God, and they are giving into that which is temporal instead of that which is eternal. So that's all for this video. I think this turned out to be a powerful message. I hope it resonated with you. If it did, please leave a comment down below. It motivates me to keep making these videos. It shows me that you guys are gaining value. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, as it helps get this video out to more people. More people need this message. If you agree, share it with a friend. But definitely support in some way through a like, a comment, or a subscribe if you resonate with me and my energy. All right? Thanks for listening. Much peace and love. I'll see you in the next video.